plant people. Welcome back if you're returning. I'm off camera, but again, this is Jen. I go by the Leafy Geek here and also on Instagram. And it is humid in here today. I don't have air conditioning in my apartment, and it's a balmy like 77 in here with a humidity level that I'm guessing over 60%. So I'm sure these guys all love that. So I've been doing some plant chores today. I have all of my fans just blasting because it is very, very tropical in here today. We've been having some storms yesterday and last night, and it's a balmy July day in Minnesota today. So I'm doing a lot of plant chores today. I kind of designate Sundays as my official plant chore day, if I'm going to have one. It's the day I kind of wander around my house and take a look and see how all my little green buddies are doing. And today I've been watering pretty much all of my plants. We're about due for everybody, and then I'm fertilizing my Hoya today, so that was on my agenda. But I thought I would bring you along and show you some cool plants that I recently have gotten, probably since the last time I shared a plant haul with you. You can see some of them on this table here. But I'll share those with you, and I'll also point out some plants that are really popping off on growth right now. I've noticed quite a few that are really actively growing, and some of them kind of sneakily. Like, I didn't notice the growth a week ago. So we're gonna explore my plants a little bit today. So buckle up, let's go. Guys, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on the fertilizer that I use for my plants that I'm using on my Hoyas today. So this is the Espoma Organic Indoor Liquid Fertilizer. And it's liquid, it's water soluble. I mix it up in this old distilled water jug. And what's great about the Espoma fertilizer, this is a 2-2-2 balance, and the instructions are really clearly printed on the bottle. So it has a self-dosing cap, which means it just, when you pour, it auto measures the dosage for you, and it's 1 dose per quart or 4 doses per gallon. So when I mix up a big batch, I use this water jug and just kind of mix it up, and I use it on my plants when I water them. I'm not really using this on my peperomias right now. It's their off-season for growth, but my Hoyas are loving this right now. So yeah, I just follow the directions on the bottle. I do this once every 2 weeks or so for my Hoyas right now in their growth season this summer. This is my new plant table. We'll just call it that. So I set up this temporary table for my plants that have been acclimating in my home. Right off the bat here, you guys might remember this Thaumatophyllum bipinnatophytum. You can see that new leaf that's popping out right there, which is amazing. I haven't had this plant that long, probably a matter of weeks. I got this from Steve's Leaves. So that's looking good. Over here is my Monstera siltepecana. I also got this from Steve's Leaves, and there's new growth everywhere on this plant right now. It's every single vine has a new leaf on it, at least one. And what I love about this is my first Monstera. So it's just, I love the growth habit. I love the texture and the patterning on the leaves. I just think this is really beautiful, and I am planning on staging this kind of by where my Cebu Blue is. Over here I have my Homolamina selby, which I got from Logi's fairly recently, and you see that new growth, that new leaf that's coming out, about ready to unfurl. So this plant is adjusting really well in my home. I also have, it looks like a new leaf down below, which is kind of cool. So 2 new leaves on this one. It's Homolamina selby. Down here, are the Hoya that I had recently acquired from Unsolicited Plant Talks. This little grouping right here is my previous order. This is Hoya coronaria. There's new growth on that one, actively growing, yay! So that means they're adjusting really well. This is my Hoya incrustata that I also got from Unsolicited Plant Talks, and in that first order. And this vine is continuing to grow. It didn't die back, and I have new leaf buds on it, so that's pretty neat too. This guy, you guys, these two little characters right here. So this is my newest Ripsalis. I picked this up from Steve's Leaves fairly recently. This was one of the newer plants that I have received. This is Ripsalis ewaldiana. And I'm excited about this one. It's a good sized plant. It looks really healthy, and there's a lot of new growth on it too. So all of these ends here that are kind of forking out or branching out on those long tendrils, that's all new. This little guy, this is a Dischidia, believe it or not. It looks very succulent, very, I can't even describe it, almost like a string of fish hooks or a string of bananas, but it is a Dischidia. This is Dischidia lanceolata, and I picked this up from Pepper's greenhouse. Really awesome length on this plant. There's just a lot of it. I might take some cuttings from some of these longer vines that are missing some leaves. We'll see if we can flesh out this plant a little bit, but for what it is, it's pretty nice. Then I have Hoya Bella here. This is my Hoya Bella. It's kind of looking sad right now, but it is blooming. I have two blooms on it. One's fully opened, one's about to. That one just there was about to open. This is the one that's been in bloom for a few days at least here. So I have this one kind of out of its basket. I was bottom watering it. Moving on up, taking a look. Everything's looking pretty good. This Ripsalis, what is this, the one I call Venezuela? It's grown a lot. It just continues to grow. I might have to take cuttings of it to kind of flush out the top there. But that one's just consistently growing, as is this epiphyllum over here. Yeah. New paddles on it. It's just loving that corner. It doesn't get any direct sunlight in that corner. It's kind of probably the darkest corner that I have in this room, but it's doing great. And this Hoya linearis is also doing great where it is. All these little tendrils down here, new leaf growth on it. Having really good luck with that one this time around. Then, of course, all of my Hoyas on this windowsill are doing phenomenally well. My macrophylla, my bigger macrophylla, has some good growth on it. My Aphinus is doing really well, has a bunch of new little leaves on it, little baby leaves. This guy, it's probably the newest leaf that has kind of matured. And then my Hoya camphorifolia has this long vine that kind of sprung out of nowhere. It's been kind of a dormant Hoya for me for a long time, and then this summer it's just gone crazy. Long vine here, and then 3 new leaves up here that haven't hardened off yet, so I know they're fairly new within the last couple of weeks or so. And my Hoya Jennifer right here, I've got a new leaf popping out. That's great. Awesome. So this whole section is just killing it right now with the new growth. I moved my Hoya India cuttings in here. I finally was able to pot them up. The roots looked great. I was propagating from cuttings in water, and I have new vines popping off on Hoya India. So that's great. And then I have my Comingianas just being a rock star, as it usually is. And Hoya odorata over here has been pushing out 2 new leaves every couple of days, it seems like, on all of its vines, which is pretty cool. Okay, so this is one of my pubicalax, my Hoya pubicalax, that I moved in here because it was getting too big for where it was under a grow light. It just wasn't fitting anymore. The leaves were too close to the grow light once I put it on this hoop, and I needed to put it on the hoop because it was vining. And then Hoya melliflua similar thing. It's just vining like crazy. And I think I did recently see some new leaf buds on it, which I kind of want to check on here. Yep, oh god, yep, there it is. That is promising. This Hoya has been such a slow grower for me in terms of leaves. I haven't seen any new leaves on it since I got it. It's put out this long vine that I did end up trellising to see if it would leaf out more, if it had something to grab onto. So it's continuing to vine. Over here is my veld grape, or my Cissus quadrangularis, and that has new growth on it too. This whole window is doing phenomenally well. And then over here, in this darker corner, is my Dischidia ovata, and yeah, this plant is amazing. Again, haven't seen too much out of it until the summer, and all of these little vines right here are new and actively growing, which makes me very happy. I'm glad this one is kind of finally feeling comfortable. We're in my bedroom now, guys. You might remember this beautiful Hoya curtisii, which continues to grow. I've mentioned in previous videos, it's one of my better growers this summer. And then I have this new bloom on my Hoya Mathilde. It's just opened up within the last day or so. I had this other one that was open over here. This has been open for, I want to say, it's been longer than a week. I want to say like a week and a half, not quite 2 weeks probably, and it's just kind of finishing its bloom. But there's active growth too with leaves and vines on that one while it blooms. And then this little buddy, I am so happy that Hoya rotundiflora and I have turned a corner and have reached an understanding, and it wants to put out new growth. I was worried about these two little cuttings for a very long time, but I have active growth and new leaves on it. I'm thrilled. I'm glad that one decided to stick around. Oh hey, yeah, Calathea orbifolia. How about this new leaf without any browning or crunchiness on it? I don't know, guys. I think I'm learning. I'm learning Calathea. I'm learning that language. Up top here, I have new growth on my Hoya carnosa compacta, my regular green one. This has been pretty slow for me as well, but I do think, yeah, I have a new leaf bud there too. This corner really tends to be my favorite corner of my house, you guys. I have all of my trellised, active growing Hoyas over here, and they're just under a grow light. That's all they need, apparently. So this Hoya australis has 2 vines that are currently reaching heavenwards. So that's awesome to see. I've heard australis is a fairly stable, easy grower, so in my experience, that's true. Back here is one of my pride and joys, guys. This is Hoya bangongoi, and I don't know when this thing decided to put out these 2 new vines, but I check on these fairly frequently, and I don't remember seeing this within the last week or so. And guys, look at that. Peduncle. 2 vines and a peduncle with new leaves already. That's what I get. You stick this Hoya in a corner and just let it do its thing, and it will. It won't let you down. Even my Hoya crinkles tinkles has new growth on it. This has been a slower grower for me as well. And then up front I have this Hoya pubicalix pink silver has a new leaf. New vines as well, new growth points there. And then this is a new kind of unknown variety of pubicalix I recently picked up from Steve's Leaves. It's acclimated and everything, and this already has new growth on it. Guys, pubicalix grows like a weed. If you're gonna get a Hoya and you are new to Hoya, get a pubicalix, please. They won't let you down. And then back over here, my Hoya pubicalix splash also Like all 5 vines on here are just blowing up right now. So I'm going to be probably repotting this one soon, I would imagine, to sustain all of this new growth. I think it needs a little bit more. I checked earlier and I think this one definitely is a little bit more root bound than I would like. So might look into repotting that one. Then of course this rock star, Iris Marie, has, you know, not only grown off this main vine a ton, it's decided it's going to put out 2 new vines. Because why not? Yeah, and then it just continues to grow off that main vine. So I love this corner. Love it so much. It's so lush. Love it. Love it. Love it. So even in my north-facing window in my bedroom, I have new growth on these Hoyas that I stuck over here. This Retusa doesn't want to let go of its spot, but it, yeah, just exploded with these vines, and they're leafing out too. They're not just tendrils reaching, like they're producing new growth, new leaves on them, which is cool to see. So probably gonna have to find a new spot for this soon, real soon, like real soon. So Hoya retusa is doing great. I think there's probably like 4 or 5 vines on there that are actively growing right now. And then my other, oh yep, here is my string of hearts, my smaller string of hearts, which is not much to look at up top, but it is growing. It's been growing a lot since I've had it in that spot. And then my Hoya shepherdii has kind of stalled out a little bit. I mean, the vines, you can see there are leaf buds on there that aren't dying back or anything. None of the vines are dying back. These 2 leaves are probably the newest ones that I have for that particular Hoya. And then, of course, the Hoyas on these shelves, I've moved some over here. Some of my Hoyas just really seem to like these grow lights, which the Commingiana there is one, the Fitchii here is another. This is in a north window, again, with some artificial light supporting. But look at this vine, you guys. It just decided, sure, it's gonna go for it. So both vines on there are getting longer and some new leaves popping up on them. Then over here is my Hoya pubicalix red buttons, which is just not going to quit. Guys, get a pubicalix. So my office over here has most of my ferns, but also this book. Guys, pick up that book, Wild Interiors. It's amazing. Please go pick it up. So my Australian tree fern is still producing new growth. That's the newest frond right there, but some of the old growth is kind of suffering. There's a new one popping up there, but like I'm trying to get it to stabilize a little bit. It seems like it's not really, just that one frond didn't really make it. Over here, guys, meet Philodendron barantianum. So I got this from Steve's Leaves. This is also a very new purchase, which is why it's over here. I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. But guys, this foliage is amazing. 2, if not 3 vines on it. It's already staked and climbing. New leaves, God, it's a beautiful plant. I understand what all the hype's about. I love this thing. Just gorgeous, that silver coloration. Even on the new leaves. Wow. It's just stunning. I don't really use that word lightly when it comes to plant descriptions, but stunning is the right word for this one. It's beautiful. All right. I'm also going to show you my Cebu Blue because this has a lot of growth on it, surprisingly, and I moved it from kind of a brighter light source to this north-facing window, and it really seems happy. A lot of the growth on the end of that vine, or on most of these vines, is new, so we're like, it's probably put on like 3 nodes per vine, which is crazy with new growth. Like, I don't understand. It's not a bright corner of my home, at all by any means, but it seems very happy here. So I'm not going to argue. Okay, over here, this is kind of the last area I'm going to show you. Hello, there's me in the mirror. But anyway, back to the plants. You guys, I don't know how this Hoya multiflora is possibly ready to bloom yet, but apparently it thinks it is, so we're just gonna let it try and bloom, because that'd be crazy. All of these little Hoya cuttings seem to be doing well. The Australis cutting down there are all kind of actively growing, and this beautiful thing, my Hoya tea. You guys know I can't pronounce this thing's name, but Hoya tea, that's the newest leaf right there. God. Finally. So glad this one decided to wake up. These leaves are quite large. And then my Hoya Dakie, of course, I'm thrilled. This was that new leaf that was popping out in, I think, my last Hoya tour, and it's already that big, and then that active growth point is still active, that vine, and then this little growth point is still green too. So I'm excited to see what this one does. This temperamental. And then down here is my Hoya elagiorum that I had to rescue. I took cuttings off the plant because it wasn't doing well, and these leaves have flushed out a lot. It's looking a lot better. There's an active growth point on it now. On this one too, these cuttings, I'm feeling pretty optimistic that I'm going to be able to keep elagiorum in my collection. And then I have a growth point on this little cutting of rubra, the Carnosa rubra. And then my sigillatus also, God, it has a new leaf coming out. That's great. Can't ask for more than that. I think also, yep, that grow point up at the tip of the vine is still active, it's still green. And then my little mystery Hoya even has a new baby leaf on it, which, thrilled. Look at that. This one keeps putting out new growth points from random places. It's pretty funny. And I'm going to also show you my Hoya imbricata, because this also, after I don't know how many months of dormancy or adjustment or whatever, what have you, it's adhered itself to this cork bark, and it also has a new vine coming out. So I think it's finally in a place where it's going to start to actively grow, which is great. It's been maintaining in this crazy terrarium in which it lives, but I think it's finally ready to do something. So I'm excited to see what it does. And then I am going to show you, my little propagation station still has active propagations in it that are rooting. But up here is my other string of hearts, and you guys, this plant. I've heard these grow really fast. I didn't have a whole lot of experience with string of hearts before I acquired the two that I do have, but it's already cleared the pot, so I'm thinking it's a fast grower. You guys, that's all I've got. I am going to finish up with some plant chores here. Mainly just going to finish fertilizing my Hoya. I have a few more that I need to hit. And then also I'm just going to quick check. I noticed a couple that might need repotting, so I was just going to take a peek, see if that was the case, check their roots, and then kind of go from there, maybe do some repotting tonight. But that's really it for me right now. Thanks for coming with me on this little chore day. And I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day, having a fantastic week ahead, and until next time, enjoy your plants.